The NASCAR Cup Series race has officially concluded from Talladega Super Speedway, and we see an all-time classic Super Speedway race with 2 to 3 wide throughout a majority of it, and a very awesome photo finish at the line between Kevin Harvick and Ryan Blaney. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Cup Series race from Talladega Super Speedway, the Yellowwood 500. We got quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So for the green flag drop in today's race, Carson Nosbar would have to drop at the rear of the field. He was the only driver that had to drop at the rear. So at the start of the race, had Eric Almirola lead the field from the inside with Joey Logano on the outside, and Joey Logano got a fantastic run and was able to lead lap 1. And we saw some fantastic racing early. Saw some 3 and 4 wide happening. The third lane started coming in on lap number 4, led by Alex Bowman, and he had a domination early by Joey Logano. Then he had Denny Hamlin, Riley Herbst jump out of the middle row to Joe the top lane. Just some awesome 2 to 3 wide. He had Eric Almirola lead, then Joey Logano lead the early portion of this race, and then eventually it dissolved. But then that third lane once again got going when Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, and Denny Hamlin got up there working together to try to move forward. Just some fantastic racing overall, 2 wide and 3 wide. Then we got to the green flag pit stops at this point on lap 38, where all the Fords came in, including Austin Cindric, Ryan Preece, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney, Eric Almirola, Chase Briscoe, Brad Keselowski all came in, while the rest leaders stayed out. Then the next lap, Justin Haley, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Eric Jones, William Byron, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain, Austin Hill, and Chase Elliott were among the guys that came down pit road. Unfortunately, after that, the Toyotas come down pit road, including Chris Bell, Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, and Ty Gibbs. But Eric Jones will get a penalty for pitting with him being a crew member over the wall too soon, and got a penalty for that, taking him at least at a time out of contention. It's a mistake on the team's behalf. Then after the green flag pit stop cycle, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. was able to get back to the race lead. Then we saw some great racing happening. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. would lead the next few laps, and then Ty Gibbs tried to move outside lane once again, and I think he lost a ton of positions in the third lane. But Denny Hamlin also dropped way back at this point as well, because Denny Hamlin has now 31st position because he was getting out of the drafts. He knew he wasn't going to get stage points. And then we got to the final lap of stage number 1, and Austin Cindric actually having the race lead at the time, and put up a fantastic block over Ricky Stenhouse Jr. But going down the backstretch, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. would run out of fuel and run out of gas, and Kyle Busch had nowhere to go. He got into the back of Stenhouse, and then Ross Chastain, he tried to make a move to try to get stage points. He got clipped, I believe, by Kyle Busch or Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and he would hit the outside wall really hard, and Chris Bell also got a ton of damage as well at that point. This, unfortunately, took Ross Chastain out of contention. Ross said he probably should have held back just a little bit more in that incident. It's just one of those freak deals. Of course, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. always causes some chaos and some controversy in these races. Nonetheless, so it would bring out the caution. They would get some damage. But it mattered to the lead, as Ryan Blaney would come off the corner under caution and win stage number 1. And like I said, Ross Chastain's day would be over. So then all lead lap cars would then come down pit road, Ryan Blaney winning the race off of pit road. And then you had guys like AJ Allmendinger, Brad Keselowski, Bubba Wallace, Chris Buescher, Mark Truex Jr. come down pit road to top off on field. So then on the restart, Ryan Blaney lead the field from the inside with Chase Elliott on the outside, and we saw side-by-side racing between Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott for about 5 laps, and then inevitably Chase Elliott was able to pass Ryan Blaney for the race lead. And then Alex Bowman, he got a great push from Austin Cindric, and he was able to move ahead of Chase Elliott and got to the race lead. And would continue his domination at this point, with it being 2 wide and 3 wide still going on. And then we saw Ricky Stenhouse Jr. give a fantastic push to Eric Jones, who came back from his penalty and was able to get the race lead. And then eventually the front row cars all got in top 3 positions, with I believe Riley Herbst leading the race. And then he started seeing more 2 wide and 3 wide happening at this point, with guys like Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace trying to get the third lane going so they could get up to the front. And then all the cars would then come down pit road. Actually, had a lot of cars going to the bottom, getting ready to come down pit road. Nearly had a wreck between Bubba Wallace and I think a couple other guys who almost ended up wrecking as well. Luckily, they were able to continue going. And then on lap 105, we saw all the guys start coming down pit road. First Toyotas being Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, Ty Gibbs, Mark Truex Jr., Chris Bell all came down, along with Michael McDowell and Todd Gillen. And also Bubba Wallace had locked tires entering pit road. And Denny Hamlin also got penalized for speeding on pit road, taking him out of contention at the time. Then the next lap, Brad Keselowski, Austin Cindric, Eric Almirola, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Preece, Joey Logano, Eric Jones, AJ Allmendinger were among the guys that came down pit road while the rest leaders stayed out. Meanwhile, Austin got a penalty for speeding exiting off of pit road. And then the next lap, Kyle Busch, Austin Dillon, Ty Dillon, Corey LaJoie, Chase Elliott, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Harrison Burton, and Kyle Larson among the guys that came down pit road while the rest leaders stayed out. But after the green flag cycle had gotten through on lap 108, Brad Keselowski is able to clear for the race lead. And then Joey Logano got a really, really big run. Brad Keselowski pushing, and Joey Logano was able to clear for the race lead. Meanwhile, Denny Hamlin actually got caught to being a lap down, but decided to stay in the draft. I don't know what Denny Hamlin was trying to do. There was a little bit of a bonehead move by Denny Hamlin, trying to stay in the lead lap and kind of broke up the draft right there. And then Austin Cindric pretty much did the same thing. It would not let go, and he basically went through the middle as well. But it would not matter at the end of stage number 2, as coming off the final corner, Brad Keselowski would win stage number 2. And then all leaders would end up coming down pit road, everyone taking 4 tires, and Joey Logano would lead off the pit road at the time. I think he dropped a bunch of positions, though, and Ty Gibbs also let the pit road with the gas can. So then, under the caution as well, Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, Kevin Harvick, Eric Almirola, Bubba Wallace among the guys that came down pit road to top off for field, while the rest of the leaders stayed out. So then on the restart, Joey Logano lead the field from the outside, Brad Keselowski being pushed by Brad Keselowski, and Logano was able to clear for the race lead. Then he started seeing the guys warming up the third line at the time. It was obviously the time that Brad Keselowski and Joey Logano were the fastest cars in the race at the time. You had Denny Hamlin and Austin Cindric, though, trying to form that outside, and they were able to get up there and contend. Denny Hamlin got up ahead of Bubba Wallace, and Bubba Wallace actually got ahead of Denny Hamlin, and Bubba Wallace was able to get up front and get the race lead. At this point, he had a lot of changing back and forth up front. First Denny Hamlin, then Chris Buescher got up there to the lead, then Bubba Wallace then got it back, and they stayed up in the middle. And then we had some really good racing up front, but with 27 or 26 laps to go, the next caution race would come out when Brad Keselowski and Carson Osbar had contact coming through the tri-oval. Brad Keselowski was trying to push Carson Osbar. Car been a little bit unstable throughout the race, and Carson Osbar unfortunately spun off the caution, and it collected Keselowski, Ty Dillon, Austin Dillon was involved, and I believe Chase Briscoe and Harrison Burton were also involved in the wreck as well. To me, just a bad move by Brad Keselowski, who's been a really good super speed racer, especially with the next-gen car this year. Obviously, last year had issues racing at super speedways, but nonetheless, Brad Keselowski made a little bit of a mistake. Carson Osbar did not get mad at Brad because he had issues in a truck race yesterday, causing wreck of Roger Carruth, but at least no fights ended up taking place there. Anyways, just a mistake by Keselowski, but you know what? That's what happens when you can't push in a tri-oval, and you push in a tri-oval, you're going to end up having big wrecks like that. So then we had a red flag at the time because he had to broke a piece of the wall, I think, a lot of damage inside the safety barrier time, and they had to go ahead and repair it. But eventually, all the other cars, after they got it back going, all the lap cars have come down pit road. Some taking fuel only, including Alex Bowman, Ryan Blaney, Riley Herbst, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, among the guys that took fuel only, while guys like Bubba Wallace, William Byron, Daniel Suarez took 2 tires. And then on the restart, Eric Almirola lead the field from the outside with Alex Bowman on the inside. And we saw Alex Bowman and Eric Almirola put on a really, really good show up front. Alex Bowman actually was able to clear for the race lead. But then another caution in the final caution today would come out with 17 laps to go for debris on the backstretch. A piece of carbon fiber fell off of one of the cars. I'm guessing one of the damaged cars, probably Chase Briscoe or Harrison Burton, had a lot of damage. And they basically brought the caution out. So then we get to the final restart with 13 laps to go with Alex Bowman lead the field from the inside with Ryan Blaney on the outside, and Alex Bowman got a fantastic run, was able to clear. Then the next lap, Kevin Harvick, he was able to get up front and got a fantastic run, and he was able to, I believe, get a run and clear for the race lead with a few laps to go. And then it became a really good battle between Alex Bowman and Kevin Harvick at the time, but Kevin Harvick inevitably got the lead with around 4 or 5 laps to go as Alex Bowman trying to block the top lane. That really did not work. And then, with 3 laps to go, Kevin Harvick got a really, really strong run and was able to clear for the race lead. And then, as it came to the white flag in this race, Ryan Blaney got a fantastic run inside with Kevin Harvick on his outside, and they were drag racing down the front stretch going into turn number 1. They say drag racing, Ryan Blaney is able to clear help from Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott, but eventually Ryan Blaney got a really good run and was able to finally clear. As they went down the back, Kevin Harvick got a great run. As they came down the front stretch, they came down side by side between Ryan Blaney and Kevin Harvick. William Byron gave a fantastic push to Ryan Blaney. They stayed side by side on line between Kevin Harvick and Ryan Blaney, with the photo finish with 12 1,000ths of a second, and Ryan Blaney is able to edge Kevin Harvick and pick up a second win of the 2023 season, and is able to lock his way into the round of 8 with the victory. During that time, there was a big wreck that ended up taking place between guys like Todd Gillen. I think Todd Gillen got some damage in that. Also, Corey LaJoie was involved. Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Alex Bowman, and Chris Bell were involved in the wreck. There was some contact between Corey LaJoie and Riley Herbster. That's what caused the incident. I don't know what LaJoie was trying to send it 3 or 4 wide. That was a stupid move on LaJoie's part, as it took a bunch of playoff drivers out of contention for the victory. Let's talk about the finish showing the guy that won the race. Absolutely amazing finish between Ryan Blaney and Kevin Harvick. I was rooting for Kevin Harvick to win because I would love to see Kevin Harvick win before the end of the year. And he came so close but so far from getting the victory, 12 1/1000ths away. But congratulations to Ryan Blaney on picking up his second victory 2023. This is only his second season where he scored multiple victories in a year. Ryan Blaney's obviously struggled this year in 2023 in the second half of the year, but they've actually had a lot more pace and a lot more speed in the last 4 or 5 weeks outside of Texas. But a great day for Ryan Blaney and a well-deserved win. Was in the right position, right time. Led quite a few laps at the end and stayed up front and got his third win at Talladega. We know how strong Ryan Blaney is. I thought Blaney was going to be a threat of contender for the victory today, and he did what he had to do, and he got the victory done. So nonetheless, congratulations to Ryan Blaney on picking up the victory. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at the race results, and I'll give you my score and thoughts on today's race. So Ryan Blaney picks up the victory. Kevin Harvick finishes second. Man, so close, but so far to picking up potentially his final career victory. But Kevin Harvick had an amazing day, ran top 10 and top 15 all day long, was in position to win, came close to winning, but still a fantastic day for Kevin Harvick in second place. I think that is now his best finish. I think will tie for his best finish of 2023. Got that second place finish at Darlington in the spring. Great day, though, for Kevin Harvick in second place. William Byron finished third. I don't know why he tried to go for the win at this point. He could have helped Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott at the time. I know Kyle Larson is a contender, but William Byron made a bad move there. But William Byron had a pretty good day, led a ton of laps as well, and finishes in the top 5. Great run for him. Denny Hamlin finishes fourth. A great comeback for Denny Hamlin after his issues. Denny had one of the fastest cars in the field, but there were times where people weren't wanting to work with him because Denny Hamlin, we obviously know, is a really great super speedway racer, but he does get a very solid top 5 finish. Is pretty good position going into next week at the Roval. We know he's been hit or miss on the road courses. He needed to have a good run today, and he just did that by getting a top 5 finish in fourth. Corey LaJoie finished 5th. Great run for Corey LaJoie. Obviously caused the final big wreck of the day. But man, Corey LaJoie getting a top 5 finish. I think that's his 3rd or 4th top 5 of 2023. So good to see him finish in the top 5. Austin Cindric finished 6th. Obviously been a struggling year for that 2 team, but good to see Austin Cindric get a top 10 finish. Great run for him. Justin Haley finished 7th. Great run for Justin Haley in 7th place. It was really quiet most of the day. Ran inside the top 15 and top 20 a majority of the day, but recovers to finish inside the top 10 with the 7th place finish. Chase Elliott finished 8th. Chase Elliott had one of the strongest cars in his field, was one of the better cars in the second half of the race, and had a really good chance to win. I'm telling you, this 9 team is going to be a threat to win the championship next year. I know it's just a super speedway race, but still to see Chase Elliott finish in the top 10 at 8th, great run for the 9 team. Ryan Preece finished 9th, obviously playing the character of Ricky Bobby, and he had a pretty good day in my opinion. Led some laps and was up front a majority of the day at times, fell back near the end, but recovered to get a top 10 finish. Great run for Ryan Preece in 9th place. And Riley Herbst finished 10th. I want to give him a shout out. Riley Herbst had his best race I've ever seen him have in probably the top 3 series. He ran all day inside the top 10 and top 5 majority of the day. That 36 car looked good, led a ton of laps, and I know that a lot of people give Riley Herbst a lot of crap, and it's justified, but he's had a bad year in the Xfinity Series, got a lot of mechanical gremlins and issues, and he still got a top 10 today. His second career top 10 finish in the Cup Series, only his 4th start, has ran all the super speed races, and I have to say, he's a pretty dang good super speedway racer. Daniel Suarez finished 11th. Decent run for him. Chandler Smith finished 12th. His best finish in his NASCAR Cup Series career up to this point. That's second career top 20 finish as well. Great run for Chandler Smith in 12th. Todd Gillen finished 13th. Decent run for him. Chase Briscoe finished 14th. Not a bad day for Chase Briscoe. Christopher Bell finishes in 15th. Bell, iffy day in my opinion, got some damage and so slightly recovered. Kyle Larson finished 16th. Want to give him a shout out. I know he got involved in the wreck on the last lap, but hey, he stayed up front a majority of the day, got a lot of stage points. I think he got 10 or 11 stage points in this race, and that might help him going to the Roval. He didn't have to wreck out today, and he didn't wreck out. He did get a top 20, which is better than nothing, I guess, at this point. He was in position to win. William Byron kind of cost him a shot at getting the victory, but you know what? He still finished in the top 20 and got a 16th place finish. Tyler Reddick finished 17th. Eric Almirola finished 18th. Was up front near the end, got shoveled out near the end of the race. Mark Truex Jr. gets the top 20 in 19th place. Chris Buescher had one of the fastest cars in the field. He finishes in 20th. Not a great day for him. AJ Allmendinger finished 21st. Michael McDowell, a good car in the beginning, got involved, I think, in the last lap wreck. He finished 22nd. Reese Nash Jr. finished 23rd, was over-aggressive at times in this race, but you know what? He did what he had to do and finished 23rd. Bubba Wallace finished 24th. I'm going to say a pretty disappointing day for Bubba. He was good at the end of the race, but didn't score any stage points and ended up crashing at the end. He tried to get the third lane moving at the end, but for whatever reason, no one really wanted to go with him at the end of the race, which was surprising, including Denny Hamlin, but he does end up finishing 24th. A disappointing day all around. He's a pretty good super speed racer, just could not capitalize on the day today. A very disappointing day for Bubba Wallace, the standards of super speedways. Joey Logano finished 25th. I think Logano had one of the strongest cars, maybe the fastest car in the field. Unfortunately, Logano got shoveled back near the end and got some damage in the last wreck. He finished 25th. Kyle Busch finished 26th. A very disappointing day for Kyle Busch. Did not score any stage points. I really thought Kyle Busch today was going to have a chance to win, and just not a great day overall for Kyle Busch. Ran outside the top 20, got damaged early in the race, and then, of course, just not a great day for Kyle all around. Thought he would be a threat and never had a chance to get 10. He finished in 26th. Eric Jones finished 27th. He was fast at points in this race. Just never had a chance to get up front and contend at the end. Got involved with thinking, dropped a bunch of positions back. He finished 27th. Ty Dillon finished 28th. Alex Bowman finished 39th after having a really great car today. It's a shame he didn't even get a top 25 finish, or even a top 20 finish after being in contention in the last few laps. BJ McCall finished 30th. Brendan Poole finished 31st. Harrison Burton finished 32nd after crashing out. Brad Keselowski finished 33rd after crashing out. Brad had one of the strongest cars in the field, just made that mistake getting to the back of Carson Hocevar. Austin Dillon finishes in 34th. Ty Gibbs finished 35th. Carson Hocevar, who got involved in that wreck, finished 36th. J.G. Only finished 37th. And Ross Chastain finishes last in 38th place. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole and to give you my score and thoughts on today's race. This race was absolutely outstanding from the get-go. You had a lot of side-by-side racing. You had fantastic and a killer racing, 3 wide throughout. I think this is definitely one of the best super speed races we have ever seen in the next gen. In fact, I'm declaring this right now, as of now, the best super speed race in the next gen era. I believe we got a record for lead changes at Talladega, at least since the tandem era, where that I think had like 70 or 80 lead changes in the October race of 2011. This race had like 67 or 68 lead changes, and it ended in a classic photo finish between Kevin Harvick and Ryan Blaney. And until the end, everyone really kept their noses clean. Granted, he had a couple big wrecks end up happening throughout the race, but I thought everyone did a really good job. It was aggressive, but it was fantastic racing from the get-go. I am going to give today's NASCAR Cup Series race at Talladega Super Speedway overall, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. A perfect race, in my opinion. One of the best races of the 2023 season. Absolutely amazing, absolutely incredible, and it was one of the most enjoyable races of the year. So now, let's go ahead and take a look at the playoff standings after the second race of the round of 12. Alright, now let's take a look at the playoff standings. So William Byron and Ryan Blaney are locked into the next round. Denny Hamlin is 50 points above the cutoff line. He pretty much just has to start the race at a roll or not crash out. He's 50 above. He's in good shape. Christopher Bell is 22 points above. Chris Buescher is 19 above. Mark Truex Jr. is 17 above. Kyle Larson is 15 above. And Brad Keselowski is 2 points above. Tyler Reddick's 2 below. Ross Chastain is 9 points below. Bubba Wallace is 9 below. And Kyle Busch is 26 below. At this point, Kyle Busch is in a must-win situation at the Roval unless he can pull out some Hail Marys. That's how we know how fast he's been at road courses. But I don't know if Kyle Busch can make it past this round. Everyone else can make it in on points. And no one is safe outside of Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and William Byron. So, that is going to be it for the NASCAR Cup Series race view from Talladega Super Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Link description below that, and comment your thoughts below on today's race. What are your thoughts on today's race at Talladega? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below, and congratulate Ryan Blaney on picking up the victory. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, there's probably going to be a NASCAR news video on the channel, and then probably also be the NASCAR Xfinity Series race picks for the Charlotte Roval. Then on Tuesday, there might be a silly season update dropping on the channel. If not, though, there could be the schedule, because there's a lot of talk about the schedule potentially coming this week, and we'll have a video talk about that as well. Wednesday, there's going to be a NASCAR news video dropping on the channel more than likely. Then Thursday, we'll have race picks for the Charlotte Roval, and then Friday, we'll have probably a NASCAR news video dropping on the channel. Got a lot of great content dropping on the channel over the next 2 weeks that I cannot wait for you guys to check out. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.